Welcome to the Marketing Powers Podcast. I'm your host, Mkwemba Mangangu, and I'm joined by my co-host, Grace Gondwe.
We're both marketing enthusiasts with a passion for sharing our knowledge and insights with you. This podcast is designed to equip our listeners with the information they need to excel at marketing in their different spaces. Our aim is to bring marketing home.
With that said, let's delve into today's episode.
Hi, Mukwemba.
Hi, Grace. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Tukia is putting me under pressure here.
I don't know why Tukia is putting you under pressure.
Oh, my goodness.
Tuki, how are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you guys doing?
We're very well, thank you.
Good. Well, excited about today's episode. We hope you listened to the last episode and enjoyed it. We have an amazing guest today and we're excited for the interview. But before we go into the interview, yes. Who remembers the conversation about Nshima?
Which one? The one with Tanya?
Yes. Which other reference would I be making? Yeah, that was the episode we spoke about. We touched the hearts of many.
This is what I'm excited about today's
episode. Yes. Yeah, we touched the hearts of many.
Because I was Team Shima.
Apparently, Tukia was Team Shima, even though he didn't eat Finkwala. And,
a line has to be drawn.
Yeah, and today we discovered that I don't like impwa.
Shocker.
And I've been judged.
Shocker.
And I've been told I'm not a good person because I don't like impwa.
Impwa, like the person who discovered impwa is right up there. The person who discovered garlic, cheese, peanut butter, all of that stuff. Right up there, I kid you not.
I mean, like we can have a conversation. But what the person who discovered impwa was? He was probably a farmer.
Yeah.
It's probably in agriculture.
Yeah, most likely.
If that was not the most slick segue, if that was not the most slick segue that there has ever been into who our guest is and what they do, then I don't know. I deserve a round of applause, please.
I've told you, we're getting a drum roll set.
Yes,
one
please.
Way or the
Someone
other.
Needs to insert. So our guest today is Mrs. Mary Longolongo Gumbi. I hope I got it right.
Yes, you did.
You're welcome, Mary.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you so much for joining us.
No, happy to be here. I was waiting, excited when I heard the first episode. You guys are doing a great thing. I'm excited.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are trying.
It's good to know. It's good to know people in the industry are actually listening
to
and getting value. Yeah, and I mean that's what we're trying to do is bring value to people who are actually doing the practice. Even as we look to give insights to people who are figuring it out and maybe running a small business and trying to see what they can do.
Truly. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm happy to be here.
So Mary is marketing manager for Amiran, which is an agricultural input supply company, and so that's why our opening statement was focused on agriculture. We've spoken a lot pre this episode about how the value of the agriculture industry is so high and how we talk about all of this diversification.
Yes, diversification from copper. I mean, we hear it all the time. We can't keep relying on our copper products. And now when we go into the conversation about agriculture and its importance, and now we relate it, because then we cannot live in a society and act like we don't eat, right? And that most of it also contributes highly to our GDP as a nation. So it makes it all the more important that we have this conversation with marketers in the industry, the agriculture industry to be specific, and how they make strides.
I was just impressed. I ran into a stat saying 70% of farmers in Zambia are female.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, small scale farmers.
Yeah, small scale farmers.
Me proud that 70% of small scale farmers are women when I have no farming expertise or experience. But power to them.
Yeah, no, I was impressed by that stat.
So I mean, we want to hear about your experience, Mary, working in the agricultural space. And we'll begin, I think, with our compulsory questions.
Okay.
40 marks.
Yeah, compulsory questions. The number one being, what does marketing mean to you?
Okay. I think over the years, for me, marketing has, has grown to be a relationship. And a long-term relationship at that. This is where you trust that your skills are meant to bring complex issues, to a more consumable and comprehensive way for your audience. It doesn't matter what audience you have to trust your knowledge of them, build your personas, and also learn how you can best now enhance those relationships in the long run. And in turn, you get the profitability that you're looking at. So profit at the end of it.
Always.
All the time.
Always bring it back.
No, I mean, we have to talk about the money.
Of course. Yeah, marketing takes money. And so, I always brag at work when, I meet with my team. I'm like, you make the money, I spend the money.
You see,
some finance people won't like you.
I know.
But I mean, you need to spend money to make money.
Exactly.
And going back to her definition, okay. Again, I think this is where we're starting to hear this a lot. Okay, enhancing relationships. Going back to the fact that, like mentioning that we are so customer centric as marketers, and this is something that we find is going to be consistent with everyone most of the people that we're going to talk to, because we focus all our energies on the people that get our products at the end of the day. The customer is king. Yes, and I like that we keep hearing this and enhancing these relationships for that sole purpose. Yeah.
My big takeaway was where you said you need to trust in your skills and your capabilities, because even in the business environment, everything is by chance. You might put something out there that customers may not like. You don't necessarily know how they're going to react to whatever it is that you're feeding them. So the fact that you've mentioned you need to trust in your capabilities, in your skills to deliver that which a customer would like is my key takeaway from that definition. I love it.
Yeah, I think for me is you touched on knowing your clients as well, right? Building that information base of like, okay, this is thus far, this is what we've seen them to like, this is what they've responded to well, and then using that to inform your strategy. I think that was really, really good.
Okay,
that was a good response.
It's been blowing the trumpet.
That was a good response. I don't know how much the lecturer would give you. We have some lecturers here.
It's a good 41.
Oh, thank you.
Good 41.
Yeah. So then the next question is, how did you get into the industry? Like, what's the backstory for how Mary got into marketing?
It's quite funny. I think earlier I mentioned I wouldn't want to preempt it because I never saw myself in marketing. I always I felt my niche was in corporate communications, really high stakeholder engagement. But when it came to a point, I was given a product, by my a recent employer. He told me, we need to sell this. I'm like, but that's not my job. He's like, we need to sell this. I was like, okay, let's see how we can sell this. And then I had to engage certain professionals who guided me through this path. You just can't go in, my boss always says, don't always just throw stuff to the wall hoping it will stick. So, I had to get a few knowledge from people who were experts in the field. And then following that, when it was a success, it felt good. And after that, then came another product and another product. I was like, okay, you guys, this is enough. Let's move on.
I'm sold.
Let's move on. Let's see where we get. And that's how I then found myself within the agriculture sector. But this has been an amazing few years. Within agriculture, it's not just the people, it's the families, it's the country at the end of it all. Because you're seeing the small drips of water in the sea are what are making the development and the milestones, and you see the advancement at the end of the day. So it's been quite rewarding for me. So it just happened.
I see. I think no one really talks about, like we've spoken about a lot of the aspects of marketing, but I think no one really talks about the dopamine hit that you get from making a sale.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that something has actually worked.
Someone got this product and it worked. Someone came to you and you, if it's a service, you gave them this service and it was an amazing experience for them. It is actually very fulfilling. I mean, profit is the bottom line, but
of course,
profit is the bottom line. But there's we feel good, when we give you a service or we give you a product and it works. It's a really, really good feeling, and I think it makes doing the job worthwhile.
Yep.
All the more worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yes, and I like the aspect of where you talked about, we're not just throwing things. Okay. Everything. So you had to take very deliberate steps to know how is this going to work, and then going back to the path of continuous learning, which is if you're in marketing, is something you're consistently going to do. So you moved from the aspect of the information that you had and then went on to also engage with other professionals to see how best can I make use of the resources at my disposal to make the most impact in this particular situation. So I really like that, and that we keep seeing these things in the conversations that we have.
Yeah. Tukia?
I was just going to get into a question.
And
I know you deal with a lot of B2B sort of marketing in the agriculture industry. So I want to ask, what unique aspects are there when it comes to B2B in the agriculture industry, especially, of course, in a country like Zambia?
Okay, so with this one, we navigate around a lot of uncertainties within the agriculture sector. And this is because you have to navigate around factors of weather patterns that are not certain. There's certain factors like seasonality, varying levels of adoption of technology by farmers. But I love that there was a study by Zector which said that 90% of Zambia either on a phone, a basic phone, or a smartphone. And this has actually helped us so much in that we've seen that quite a lot of farmers actually are adaptable when it comes to technology. So they have a know-how. Yes, not everyone, but at least a good number of them. And so we've trusted that this has helped in ensuring that we cover up our communication loopholes. Of course, communication will always have a loophole in terms of feedback and turnaround time. But these factors are quite cardinal. You need to know when to speak, when to get the feedback, when to set the product into the market. And this goes with seasons. So as we are speaking, we're going into the winter season. And this winter season speaks of particular products that farmers will need. People are covering up. So you're like, are you covering up your plants? There's certain factors that we then go into understanding that the farmer needs. Amiran goes by knowledge. Our knowledge is your success. So we ensure that we get all the information needed for the farmer. So it's even easy for me to go to mainstream media and say, come on, look, we're giving our farmers the information. We're not just marketing the product, but we want to give them the information which will go in the long run for the farmer. So it's quite a lot of factors, quite exhausting, I should say, at times. Yeah.
So just referring to a statement that you had made earlier, where and how you say in marketing, we don't just throw spaghetti on the wall and hope it sticks. Throughout your experience, have you been in a situation where you're given that spaghetti and you have to make it stick? Considering all the factors that you have in the agricultural sector, are you in a situation where you're given this and you're like, you know what, Mary, this has to work?
Of course. We all have supervisors, don't we?
We have bosses.
I hope you understand.
I think you to draw water out of a rock, huh?
Yeah, and I found it a bit, it was challenging at first. And of course, we work in a diverse environment, especially within the agriculture sector. I once had a situation where I had a new supervisor. He had, new visions. I had my own strategies laid out for the year, but he had a new vision. I had to now, try to fit in somewhere. He suggested of an activity. If I mention the activity, anyway, we will deal with that later. So I had to then hold a golf tournament for our farmers.
Okay.
I didn't understand the return on investment, but I trusted that, come on, he should have. He's a supervisor for a reason. So, I had to then implement this activity for the first time. I'm not an expert in golf, but I had to do it from scratch, So the fear came in. It was a lot of fear. But then at the end of the day, you trust, like I said, trusting your skills. So you make sure you have your vendors and you have a good relationship with them. This comes always on a good note for you. So this helped me so much when the entire team had understood the assignment. We had to deliver this activity and I had to save some money. So it was a good way of engaging our partners because we distribute particular brands. So those brands all have an owner. So you go to the owner, you say, come on, we have this, come on board, bring some money. It's not free. So it was quite a great experience because at the end of the day, when he came to me, I was like, yes, I was stressing you, but this was excellent. Trust me, I always play that back on a great day just to motivate myself to say, look, uncertainties will always come. But when you trust, to put in your all, trust your team as well and communicate. I always say this because teams are diverse, so you don't know how somebody understands a particular task.
That's true.
So always go back to them, ask them. Don't pester, just ask them. Oh, where are we? Is everything okay? So communicating. So at the end of it, I always trust my foundation in communication to ensure that my team is communicated to effectively. So when they know they need to deliver on a specific time, they do that. If not, I step in, but holding hands with them. So it's all a team's work at the end of the day. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's good.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah,
I need some water, Grace.
Vatra, can you hear us?
Oh, yeah.
Umoyo, we're here to be sponsored.
Yes.
I think that's an aspect that we haven't, I think, brought so much to the conversation up to this point is that marketing is a team effort as well.
Yes, we would not do it in isolation.
It's not a one-man show.
Yep.
It's not, you will say this is the brand manager, this is the what manager, but there are teams behind the scenes who are bringing things together. There's vision that is there, there's strategy, there's marketing strategy that is set behind the scenes that is informing, the conversation as it goes.
Yes, and now that you've mentioned that, I think let's get into the role of marketing in agriculture. And what we'd like to know is how can effective marketing strategies contribute to the growth and sustainability of the agriculture industry in Zambia?
So I will mention this. I'm not sure about the other marketing experts in the field, but for one, we have set a base on knowledge. I think I mentioned this earlier. Knowledge. So you're not just marketing a product, you're marketing a solution.
Yes.
So how is somebody going to know that this will solve their problem if you're not going to communicate it effectively? So at the base of it, as a marketing expert, you have to trust that. I use trust a lot. I trust too much. So let me
It's
use
inevitable. Trust me, no pun intended. It's inevitable in the industry that we work in.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so you have to ensure that you provide the information to your audience at the right time and effectively. So it all goes with knowledge. I recently participated in the EU for Mulimi consultation that was by the EU and Bongo Hive.
Right.
Within the conversation, it was different sectors, government included, but within the conversations, I would raise a lot of issues to say, okay, you want to ban charcoal, but then what's the alternative? You're looking at diversification. What information have we given our farmers when it comes to diversification? We are eating shima. We're promoting shima.
Yes.
Matebeto restaurants are opening everywhere. But how many offer sorghum as an alternative, or millet as an alternative? You find a few who offer even just that mugao.
Yeah, mugaiwa.
Yes. The roller meal.
Yeah.
Yes. So you find there's not so much we're offering our our people, and yet we're demanding them for change. Like, you cannot demand for change unless you provide information so that somebody can feel they're making an informed decision. So it all goes back to that now. Sustainability is all about knowledge and understanding that the future that we want to get to will only be based on people who understand what change they need to make and what is available to them. We try to ensure that we also provide for we're not a financing company, but we are partnering with institutions to ensure that our farmers have access to finance. Insurance is another thing. We just recently experienced a drought, but then we were like, come on, we knew this was coming. You cannot say that you didn't know the drought was coming. We always have a dry spell, either a month long or weeks long, but this one went longer. And some of our farmers actually experienced like 100% failure, crop failure, which we went back and said, come on, we have irrigation solutions and we told you this is available to you. So then you're re-enhancing your messages. So right now we're trying to push people to understand that irrigation will always be there. You don't have to get expensive irrigation. Start small, then advance your irrigation. So there's so much conversation. We need to sit down properly on the ground.
Get into the specifics.
Yeah, because sustainability, is a lot. It's a lot, but it cannot take just one player, and we need all the PPs to be present, private, public. Everyone has to be present on the table to be able to speak this. And as marketers, we shouldn't hide away or shun away from these conversations. We have certain products, for example, that is a damage to the soils. But are you really going to market this? You've been given, but there are certain times, I've had that dilemma, but I would say, no, we have alternatives. Or I'll question my boss, why do we still have this? Because if we're looking at sustainable future for the agriculture sector, why can't we bring in more bioproducts? And hence we've partnered with Zambia, CropLife, who are pushing these agendas so that we see more of sustainability in the soil, in the environment, and the weather pattern can be more favorable at the end of the day. So we actually
interesting. We actually had a question in there about sustainability, but I think you've touched on that quite well. But I think what I'm hearing is providing information.
Yes,
is very important, and I think it's really good that emphasis is coming through, because we're just coming on the back of having an episode on data-driven marketing, right? And obviously we're looking at it from a more technical perspective and, using digital tools and stuff like that. But for a very specific industry like agriculture, I think I really love the emphasis on a broader knowledge base, providing more information for the consumer, which is that farmer, providing more information about alternatives, and even speaking truth to power from an industry perspective and saying, you who are producers, why aren't you making more products available that are better for the consumer, better even for the environment in this case, because somehow even the environment is being impacted, by these products that are being produced and consumed. Exactly. So I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it is really cool, because I hear there's so much awareness that's coming out, because now we're trying to create a paradigm shift. So now, and because of how important agriculture is for us as a nation, so it's important that we're able to change the minds of those who are at the forefront, giving us the food that we eat every day, and ensuring that they know that there are better practices. And coming from, a company like yours, which from everything you're saying, I'm sold. So much so that I had certain questions at the beginning when you said saying them. I was so engulfed in what you were saying. I can't remember some of the questions I wanted to ask. That's just
he already trusts you.
My job here is done.
So it shows obviously that even with the marketing that you're doing, you're not just doing it from a point of, look, I'm trying to sell this, buy this, go put it on your farm. Like, you're actually trying to make an impact that allows people to come back and keep thinking, you know what? I trust that company, and that's what it does for the brand, which is how we go into that, which I feel like is a good segue for the next question.
I'll go right into it. And the next question would be, how does branding play a role in agricultural marketing, and why do you think this is important?
Okay, I'll use 3 terms. First, differentiation, trust, and loyalty. Trust will always be there, but it wasn't the first word this time.
We're trusting.
Yeah. So, brand will differentiate your product from the others. We have so many competitors, but then we're looking at on my own accord, I look at what sets us apart. And for Amiran, we've been there since 1963. Nice. That was way before independence.
Yeah, way before anyone else.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so
long time ago.
Exactly. So you then see, how do we maintain the loyalty? How do we maintain the trust? So it's about differentiating our product, putting the value. We are not the most cheapest. We're not cheap. Anyway, let me put it out there. But it's about the trust. We look at, certain products, if it's generics, so these are basically, chemicals that they're supposed to do a broad spectrum of whatever it is that you're trying to solve. But for us, it will be specific. We'll tell you, okay, if it's tutor that you have, this is a pest for that mostly attacks tomatoes. And tomato being a value product, we have a specific product that will then kill the larva up to the adult pest. So we're looking at how are we solving this? We provide you value for your money. Not only do you have to buy something for 5 kwacha, buy it at 15 kwacha, and you'll be able to do everything that you're supposed to going to spend on 100 kwacha scale. So we look at I look at how do I differentiate this product, ensure that they trust it, so that when they use it, they'll come back. And the loyalty continues. So you will trust at the end of the day, your brand will build that loyalty. And as Amiran, we've trusted that this has been an achievement for us over the years.
You mentioned something interesting, which has made me think. When it comes to maybe small-scale farmers or farmers that may not have enough financial muscle, especially to purchase some of these particular products that you have, and you've mentioned that they are high value, it's not the cheapest on the market. What strategies do you use to sort of encourage or persuade small-scale farmers to say, okay, in as much as this product is expensive, it will work, it will get the job done? What type of strategies do you employ?
Okay. So I try at most to use the guerrilla way. Start a conversation with your sales team while a farmer is there, or at an expo, you just start up a conversation. So I'll share one product that we have, which is our sprayer. Our sprayer is from Spain, 2-year warranty.
There we go. That sounds
we want sponsorship money.
I should ask for the water again.
Touche.
Okay.
That sounds bougie, and I'm split. Like if I'm a farmer and I may not have enough financial muscle, I'm thinking
from Spain.
From Spain.
Exactly.
You know what I mean. So carry on, please.
So now, I would say this is something that you trust, that should it get damaged, bring it back to the shop, we'll fix it for you.
Okay. Or, that's where the 2-year warranty comes in.
Exactly. But in addition to this, it has an agitator. So this is something you're able to mix your chemicals as you are spraying to ensure that there's no residue in your chemicals. Apart from that, it's going at 1,000 kwacha right now. However, imagine for 2 years, you will trust that something will be fixed for you.
Yeah. If something goes wrong.
Exactly. It has 3 nozzles. So specific, if you're putting fertilizer, you're putting a chemical or anything else, you can use changeable nozzles so that its quality is maintained. So we look at the value of it. You spend 1,000 kwacha for 2 years. You don't need to spend on anything costing you for a sprayer.
I'm a little curious. We've had some conversations about Zambians as consumers, and we've had conversations about how our palate as consumers is still evolving. We like brand differentiation and products and services and things like that. Like we're still quite a young market, so to say. So I'm very curious. I like that you've shared it that way. I'm very curious about how have you seen the reception has been when you sell a product that way. When you sell a product, like, okay, there's a cheaper option, but if you use this product, it's going to work, and it's going to work for you over an extended period of time. Do you find that the Zambian consumer, the Zambian agriculturalist, the farmer, is more open to spending more money upfront and then having value over time? Or will you find that you have to do a little bit more convincing?
I think over the years, some of the challenges some other farmers have experienced with dealing with other dealers, this has helped us. So you say, come on, look at somebody lost an entire crop because they were not educated that a glyphosate chemical was not meant to be sprayed at a specific term. So we have post-emergence. Anyway, let me not get into that science. But, there's specific terms or intervals when you have to use a particular chemical. And somebody was not shared that information. They lost the entire crop. Imagine, this is your entire capital lost. And you say, why should you risk that? Get the information straight up to us. If it's wrong, we are here. Come back and we'll do something about it. So over the years, we've trusted that certain challenges are things that we try to go in with the solution. We have certain chemicals that are bio. So if it's a weed extract, we say, come on, you can spray this on any plant, and you trust that no chemical is going into your soil, or your soil will be okay, or you have to maybe do a crop rotation to ensure for fertility of the soil over the term. So we trust the information, and this information will then provide confidence for the farmer to come back to us to know that whatever challenge they will have. So we actually have WhatsApp groups for particular areas. So if they have a challenge, we just take a picture, send it on the group. Any agriculturist available from our experts is able to respond and say, get this and this and this. So we trust that information, come on guys, information. We need to sing this song. We need to get the information out there.
What I'm actually hearing is that you're selling a product, but also an experience.
Yes.
Like you're selling these inputs, but you're providing an experience around, this product. You're providing support for the users. You're providing them with information for how they can get the most out of it. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. My key takeaway from that is the awareness aspect. You've mentioned that you've basically capitalized on a mistake made by, it could have been your competitors, to say a farmer was sold a solution that didn't necessarily work. Now I'm going to come in and show you that I have the solution that you've always been looking for. So I like the fact that you can capitalize, or first of all, you are aware that, what other people are selling on the market may not be a solution that the farmers are looking for, and you have something for them. So I really like that point that you put across. You spoke about very, like I said, I use the word bougie and and fancy products and services, which brings me to the technology aspect. So in the agriculture space, how's technology transformed marketing in particular?
Well, I think we can appreciate that technology really has made it easy for us. Not only on excelling within the skill set and executing, but also in ensuring that we deliver what we need to deliver. I mentioned of WhatsApp groups. This is one thing that we've really benefited from. We have our Facebook pages, we're on LinkedIn, we're on all social media platforms. But what are we trying to get? What's the goal at the end of it? Is to ensure that we get to the farmer, even if they're in Chinsali, Chilenge, sorry, guys, my tongue is a bit heavy.
In Chiengi.
Yes,
the people will come for you.
I know, I hope not. So, how do we get to them? And technology has that for us. We cannot get our foot into Western Province, but we know we can get to an agro dealer who has the transport to buy our products, make it available for the farmers in that area. And that has been achieved on the backbone of technology, ensuring that the information is conveyed to them within real time. Yes. So I appreciate technology in terms of conveying the messages to the right people.
With what you've mentioned, I think there's something that's come up, which I feel like is a good reason for me to ask my next question, right? Is how important are partnerships and collaborations in B2B marketing?
Okay, so with this one, I will tell you there are internal and external benefits. Internal benefits in that you're able to pool finance together and achieve a particular goal. You know, we have certain activities that we say, okay, this is an expense. As a company, we're going to achieve this. Yes, we can. But how can we achieve it better? Have more people on board. And so these partnerships, you know, they either can be from competitors. The specific competitors we don't engage, of course. But then the specific people, or let me say partnerships that are within the supply chain. And so we have benefited to ensure that that enables us to at least save some costs and also to leverage on the relationship so that we're able to give them feedback. We do not produce anything, but then we're able to advise them and say, come on, these are the conversations from our farmers. Can we try to change this way? So this gets, you know, those conversations around the table. Externally, we've seen that this has actually helped us to achieve a lot of trust from our farmers. When they see that this brand and this brand are working together, they know, oh, come on, so I don't need to go to various stops to be able to trust one, but I can go to one and find all these brands available. So we have this trust and loyalty built through the partnerships. And you know that when more hands are together, they will achieve more. Exactly. And so we're able to capture more numbers. You know, it's about value and quality, but at the end of the day, we see that numbers are also achieved. Which is an addition for us.
No, that's good. That's good. Actually, you know, when we come from the conversation of how do you collaborate with others to make a bigger impact than you would have done on your own, and that's how you even went into the conversation of costs, you know, and allows you to save money as an institution. And this is what more SMEs generally need to learn how to do. How do you collaborate with non-competing entities to make the most impact for yourselves?
Yeah. And with collaborations, I know you deliberately spoke about how it's not everyone that you collaborate with, and of course, there's some factors that you list down to say, okay, we can collaborate with these ones not so much. Have you had are you able to share any experience that you've had with an entity that you may not mention, of course, that you regretted collaborating with?
Okay, because I think I've collaborated with all our partners. But specifically, I would say it was, yes. There's a specific company that we compete with in the market, and they are bougie.
Wait, what?
They're very bougie.
Even more bougier than you?
We're not. We are like, you know, sub-level bougie. You're not really there because we try to include the small scale.
Yes.
So, you know, we noticed that they went all out, you know, in specific activity, spent so much, had so many materials unnecessary.
Was this an expo?
Come on, he's trying to reveal.
He's trying to get to it.
I'm just trying to create a picture. Yeah, I'm just trying to create a picture.
Okay, yes, they did that. So, you know, for us, you know, it was where we had so many numbers going to them and none to us. But then we're like, okay, so now we're competing in a way to just get a foot into our stand. You know, so we see that a lot of people, a lot of marketing experts are looking at, we want to look flashy at this. But is that flashy necessary? And is the cost going to, you know, mark up to your return on investment? You know, and we saw it was a flop. You know, and I was happy to some extent because I could use this, you know, to my advantage. I don't like flashy most of the time. So I would love something deliberate. You know, if you need something that needs to speak to a specific thing, let it be that, and specifically that for that purpose, and not just you trying to So they were trying to hit this and that.
And it didn't work.
It didn't work. At the end of the day, I go to my boss. I'm like, come on, I need this so that I can spend this here. So he gets to work around my web of costs.
Yeah.
On the background of, come on, we can't do flashy on this because we need to, So it works. It works in a way to allow even us as experts to understand that the specific cost that can be unnecessary, to achieve just one particular goal. It's an expo. What you're trying to get is the information out. You're not really selling. People are not there to buy. They're there to know what you have.
Yeah.
And that is it. Yeah.
Yeah, people from finance should be listening to that aspect to say that you are concerned about the costs.
Yes,
and when you put out the market,
friends.
when you put out the marketing activity, it's not necessarily that you just want to spend carelessly, but there's an objective, there's a focus.
Exactly.
Oh no, that is amazing. And even as we're coming towards the end of our program, our lovely conversation, I would just like to hear from you. What do you think or see as the future trends in marketing for the agricultural industry, particularly in Zambia?
Okay, so I'm seeing more of partnerships. Partnerships have worked a lot. And I think we've been a trailblazer in this because we've saved not only costs, but we've also achieved so much in terms of engaging our stakeholders, and I think, and deliberately, I do not invite specific competitors, but I know they're going to hear about it. But then, they've seen that certain partnerships really, really reach the people, and not only that, I feel another trend which a lot of people do not really have thought about is really understanding the challenges or doing the SWOT analysis for your consumer. I've taken time to do that so that you understand where their foot is at or at what level of thinking they're at. If a farmer has just experienced a loss, what do they need? Yes, they're suffering a loss at that time, but they also need to be motivated so that they're from that space of, being down and thinking about the challenge, but they need to get to a space where they think about what can I do next, so understanding the strengths, the threats and opportunities for your consumer will allow you to set yourself at the right space so that you know what they need. So this is a trend that I'm also throwing out there. I hope that people will think about it. It's really about you did mention being consumer centric or customer centric.
Yes.
So when you understand your consumer and what they're going through, don't just try to sell. Understand what they're going through. Provide the solutions. I do some consultancy here and there for certain brands, and I've seen it's really about what the consumer wants to hear.
Yes.
Yes, you're gonna, chuff them, do
sweet nothings.
Exactly. Yeah, you guys are experts at that. So now you need to understand, yes, you're gonna do that, but once they come back to their senses, they're gonna figure out, like, come on, you just sowed us dreams, but there's nothing to show for it. So you really have to understand what solutions you're providing, because the relationships that will come, and I will say long-term relationships, because this is what you benefit. We have farmers that go back as 1964 who were with Amiran and are still with Amiran. Or there's certain farmers that will come and say, "Oh, I used to buy from Amiran. I had stopped at some point, but I'm back."
Yes.
Yeah.
You appreciate such conversations because there is something you're doing right. But if you're not, you learn from that and ensure that it's within that relationship you're building.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
What advice would you give to both small scale as well as commercial farmers who may be seeking to explore marketing in their agricultural products?
Okay, I've seen this. It's been a trend, as long as they have, if you're following on social media, they'll think they're a marketer.
No,
but you're just an influencer. Come on, there's a difference.
I say this a lot. Please tell them.
Yeah, so it's really about understanding the skill set. Get the foundation, understand the basics first. So the basics will help you fall back whenever you have to go back to your drawing board if something doesn't work.
Yeah.
But if something works, of course, pat yourself on the back. But you need to understand, again, it's about your consumer. So from a farmer's perspective, we don't go, and again, as Amiran, we try to provide these synergies to certain, sectors. So if it's for a farmer, they're a business, they're going to grow their produce, but then they need to get to their consumers as well, so we get also our money back. So we try to stretch in that way, and for that this is where we educate the farmer and say, look at the grades of or quality of your crop. Put in your capital. If you're going to get quality fertilizer, there's quality, by the way, and there's the generics.
There are all sorts of things on the market.
Everything. So when they get the right products for their crop will perform very well. So it's all about crop management. Once they get the crop management right, they're able to have the best fruit. And once they go into the market, they can sell it anywhere. If not, then add some value to it. It's all about value addition. And if you can vertically diversify, and that is adding more value and also having more on the basket, this will allow you to not only reach so many customers, but it will also allow you to look at other industries or other activities you can work around in your farming activity. You can start drying up your tomatoes, drying up your mangoes, because I see if you go up north during most around January and around this time when tomato, there's quite right now the supply is little, that's why we've seen the price is gone up. But when supply is high, you find that once you're going up north, there's quite a lot of dumping of this fruit. That's the tomato. But then you're like, why should you damp it? Why can't you use it for something else? So we have certain activities that we allow our farmers to come for free, and we give them this information to say, look at this. Yes, we try to get to you this way. Try to get to your customer in this way as well. So in the long run, my encouragement is understand the information, get the basics, and always trust the experts in the field, because not only, yes, you know what is right for you, but they may know an alternative or something even better that is new that can help you.
That's the reason why they're experts.
Exactly.
Wow. And you know what? Everything you've said is so informing. Okay, I think we've been
I've learned a lot.
educated throughout this conversation, and can really tell that you know what you're talking about, and you've really engulfed yourself in this agricultural space. And so before I ask you what I'd like to call our last compulsory questions, for some reason they're never ending. They'll hit you by surprise.
Okay.
Where can people reach you to get more of this information?
As a marketer or as Amiran?
As a marketer, I'll take it LinkedIn. Maybe you give us your name there, and so people can reach out. And
I think even both is fine.
Okay, so it's Mary L Gumbi. That's both on Facebook and on LinkedIn. I'm mostly active on these two platforms personally.
Yes.
But for Amiran, you can reach us on Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. Any social media platform, we're on there. But I'll also encourage that, people should try to go within the shop. So we have our Lusaka, which is the head office, just along Mumba Road. It's right opposite ETG, our competitor. But as you drive from off Lumumba Road, you enter Mumba Road. It's just 6 minutes away, and we're just on the left as you head towards Mumbwa. We have state-of-the-art nursery there. So farmers, any individual that has a vision or a dream to be a farmer, they can just walk in, have a walkthrough. We don't have so much, we have security. I wasn't going to say we are not so stingy with entrance and access to us, but you can come through and see the difference in products and see what we have available. Ask questions. We're always available to answer the questions. If not, you can also just reach out on Facebook if you want to be part of the particular group. So we are situated up north in Kitwe, Luansha, Northwestern Province, Choma, Lusaka Kawe, and Mukushi. So whichever way, wherever you are, you can reach us there. And through our Facebook page, we're always ready to respond to anyone.
They have great coverage. So if you need information and you need to learn something, please do reach out. And so, as we come to a close, if you were to pick one brand, product, or service which you believe embodies Zambia and what we're all about, what brand, product, or service would you pick?
Am I limited to the industry, or should I pick another industry?
I would like for you to pick outside your industry.
Yes. Okay.
Just to be a little bit spicy.
That is Zambian. I wish you'd give me some time to think about this, because I've interacted with several brands that I go like, oh, okay, this is good. This is good for Zambia. I think. On top of my head, I would say Trade Kings.
Okay.
Trade Kings is one that Trade Kings, Big Tree. I know they're competitors, but these two have really, really, set a trend in terms of product manufacturing in Zambia.
Yes.
It's all Zambian product quality. You can compare your Omo to your Boom.
Yes.
It's same quality. Yeah. I've been impressed with Trade Kings over the years, and I still do trust them. You come in my home, you'll find a Trade King somewhere. Yeah. Always. So Trade Kings, Big Tree in terms of cereals and everything else that is, food.
Related,
Big Tree is really, really doing the best. And Trade Kings, it's mostly on the chemical side, detergents.
Yes.
I love their detergents, and they're employing so many Zambians. So really, in all their product chain, I think they're really all Zambian, and I'm happy for their brands.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer. You can just mention Trade Kings and Boom is like, good answer. Got it.
I hope they can come on as sponsors.
Right?
Watch this space.
Watch this space. And then, is there a marketing book that you feel has greatly impacted your marketing career?
Well, specifically, because there's quite a lot. Wow. Let me not term a book, but an individual.
All right.
Yeah, because I feel they book. Once they speak up, I know they're yet to write a book, but Nigel Seabrook, if you look him up on LinkedIn, he was my boss at some point. But this man, any conversation you have with him, either on LinkedIn, a comment, any response from him, he's teaching you something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and marketing is really about learning. You learn everything anywhere.
Yes.
So not only do you have to open a marketing book specifically, you can open up an agriculture book. You can open up anything, literacy, financial literacy.
Yes.
Financial management. I've actually benefited so much from financial reporting books, because you understand what the finance department wants to hear for you to get away with your spending.
Our competitors.
So you need to learn how to speak that language. Understand also what is it they're trying to say.
Yes.
So I do know what to push, when to push those buttons. And for the past 2 years, I've really, really enjoyed
having those conversations with him. Huh?
Yes. So you learn, as a marketer, learn everywhere, from every individual you interact with. Is it just a simple person in the market selling tomato, selling chikanda? Speak to them, learn, understand. They wake up to go and sell that thing at a particular spot. You ask them why. That's something, that's a trend. What's going on in their head? And they're achieving it. So it's really not limited to a book, but 2 individuals for me. Yeah.
I've been wondering if I should ask the last question because I was going to ask, who do you think would be an amazing guest for this show that you would like to listen to? And now I'm like, is it the same person?
Yes, I would. And I'm not sure if he would be keen, but I would try to convince him for you.
Oh, please.
But if not him, I think there are particular individuals that have benefited from as well. Emmanuel Banda, he's a partner. He's part of our partnerships at Amiran under Bear.
Okay.
I think he's driven. He's got quite an experience within the field. Okay. When it comes to branding, yes. I think he's a branding king. He doesn't.
Really?
Well, Emmanuel, I know if he hears this, I know. I would say that once just for him. He won't hear it again. But trust me, Emmanuel Banda is really keen when it comes to branding. He understands branding and visibility for branding.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. I think I will try Emmanuel if you're listening.
Calling you out.
We're calling you out.
They're summoning you.
Yes. No, we've had an amazing conversation, and thank you so much for making time, to have this conversation with us. We are so pleased, and I know our audience has benefited from this conversation. Yeah.
I have too. It's always great to get all those words out so that it's still there.
You've got it.
Yeah, but thank you guys. I've had an amazing time. It's been great interacting. And I should say kudos to this podcast. I know it's going far. It's a first actually within the sector. So please, we'll certainly push this. I hope Zambia Institute of Marketing are also listening so that they know that this is going on. They need to push for this.
They better know it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Kudos to you guys. You're really doing a great job.
No, thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. And to our listeners, please remember, reach out to us on our socials if you've got questions. If there's a guest you'd like to listen to, please reach out to us. Don't feel shy. We are very welcoming. We will talk to you. Reach out to us on all our social media platforms. We're available. And so with that in mind,
we will close by saying,
remember to keep your finger on the marketing pulse.
We hope that you have enjoyed today's episode just as much as we have.
Till next time, remember to keep your finger on the marketing pulse.